Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. We're back. Yes, we're talking football once again. This time, we're switching it up a bit. We're going to be chatting women's football. We're going to be changing the narrative and making sure that our women's football and our women's sport get as much exposure as the men's sport in this country. And I think that's what we need to strive for. Because we've got our women's teams doing the things. We've got Banyana Banyana that's going to the African Championships and they're defending their title. And then we've also got on the rugby side of things, our women's team that's preparing to go to a Rugby World Cup next year in New Zealand. And both teams are working hard, and I'm sure that we'll get an update from our rugby team pretty soon. But for now, we're joined by Coach Desiree Ellis. She is a woman that has changed the sport. She's been there from grassroots level, and she's managed to walk the walk, and now she can actually take her expertise and share it with the younger generations. And she's been there, she knows what to do, and she's certainly reaching the heights that South African football can reach. Coach Desiree, thank you so much for your time this evening. I really, really appreciate it.
Hi, Thaakir. Welcome to the viewers as well. It's actually not the African Women's Championships. It's actually the COSAFA Cup that's being held in Port Elizabeth. It's great to be on the show.
Thank you so much. That's a correction for the viewers out there. Thank you, Coachy. I really, really appreciate that. Yes, Coachy, let's start with you. You've got a long history in football. You were one of the pioneers into making women's football a thing in South Africa. Can you run us through a bit of your history and where your football journey started?
Well, we lived in Heidelberg when I was growing up, but I went to school in Salt River. I went to Dryden Street Primary and Salt River High. So in the afternoon, we would play with the boys in the street and also obviously at school. Then at the age of 15, I joined the girls team called Athlone Celtic and played for Athlone Celtic. And then, fast forward, when Nelson Mandela was released from prison, I got the opportunity to try out for the national team, and we drove up to Johannesburg in a minibus and made the national team as the vice captain, scored a hat-trick on debut, and on the way against Swaziland, and on the way back, I lost my job because we came back late. I played in the national team until 2002. And my last game was actually the 2002 COSAFA Cup in Zimbabwe. We beat Zimbabwe 2-1. And that's when a new coach took over, and I was obviously not part of the plans going forward. I played for a club called Spurs Ladies, was Cape Town Spurs before. And when Ajax got formed, obviously the Cape Town Spurs fell away, but we were still called Spurs Ladies. And then in 2014, Coach Vera Pau came to the country and became the head coach. And I then became an assistant coach. And in 2016, we went to the Olympic Games, and then she decided not to continue. And I was the coach. In 2016, we went to AFCON, came fourth at the AFCON. And then the next year, we went to the COSAFA Cup in 2017 in Zimbabwe. We won the final against Zimbabwe, but I think people will remember the semi-final when we were 3-0 down, playing against Zambia and came from behind. I became then the first coach to win the trophy as a player and as a coach. And then fast forward to 2018, I became the head coach of Banyana Banyana. We then defended our title, which was the COSAFA Cup in Port Elizabeth, beating Cameroon in the final. And went to the AFCON, and at the AFCON, we lost in the semi-final to Nigeria on penalties, but we obviously qualified for the World Cup. I was then awarded the CAF Coach of the Year. Then the following year, we also then played in the COSAFA Cup, which was again held in Port Elizabeth, and won it three years in a row, beating Zambia this time in the final. And at the end of that year, 2019, I became the African Women's Coach of the Year. And in between that, our debut at the World Cup, which was absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, things didn't go our way, especially in the first game. But I think we showed people, that we can compete. And now we just have to take that next step up. And now we're back at the COSAFA Cup again in Port Elizabeth and getting ready for the competition.
No, definitely. It's going to be an interesting one. And we all have very fond memories. Even though the results didn't go away in that World Cup, you definitely had South Africa on your side, and the quality of football that was played, it just for me personally, it brought back that spirit of 2010 where the entire country put everything aside just to get behind your national team with one common goal, and that's to support them, whether it's through thick and thin. And yeah, I mean, we've got a chance to bring back silverware to South Africa again. Come now with the COSAFA Cup taking place in PE. Coach, before we head on to the football side of things, you've mentioned you've grown up in Heidelberg and you've grown up in Salt River. And many of our viewers out there are we worldwide, we around the country and we around the world. Can you give us a brief background on what it was like growing up in Heidelberg and Salt River, the experiences that you challenged and how you changed the narrative to rise above the circumstances that you were surrounded by?
Look, we lived in Heidelberg, obviously went to school in Salt River. So we were only at home really weekends, but I never really played a lot of football there because my brother then came along and the house was too small for five kids and a mother and a father. We then moved to Hanover Park where my mother still lives because I'm currently based in Johannesburg. So we lived in Hanover Park and we played football there. But, people always do say girls don't play football, you should be in the kitchen. And I think I remember going to one of my league matches and hearing these gentlemen talking. They've got nothing to do on a Sunday afternoon. Let's go down and have a bit of a laugh. So they come down to the game and, they became our biggest supporters. You can only change people's minds and perception by performances. And I think that's what we've done in the past. But I think I was fortunate that I had parents, especially my late father, was not only my biggest supporter, but also my biggest critic. And, that stood behind us. So it didn't really matter, what people said out there, that I wanted to be a boy. All I wanted to do was play football. And I was a girl loving football, and I had that support. And I think that really helped me with all the stigmatism and the stereotyping going on. But I think with the women's football and Banyana over the last couple of years, I'm sure that's changed the narrative. I'm sure that's changed mindsets of people. And, now when I was playing in the national team, 90% of the players were unemployed. Now, 90% of the players have degrees or still busy studying. That's how football has created opportunities. You have a university club champs, you have the varsity cup, you have a university national team. My assistant coach Tina Sonke was the coach of the university national team. So, by doing all of that, and putting ourselves on the world stage, I think it has changed a lot of perceptions and it's opened doors and opportunities for others. And now we hear a lot of young girls wanting to play the game of football without being challenged that they want to be a boy or they want to play a boys sport.
I think that's much needed in our society as a whole. And yes, our national team is proving why exactly that we can't be stereotypical anymore, South Africa, because they are doing the things out there. Coachy, we've got a big tournament ahead of us. We do know that you are coming in as the reigning champions. What can we expect? How's your preparation been going so far?
Look, lockdown hasn't been kind to anyone, but we needed to make sure that everyone is safe and, that everyone's taken care of. And I think it goes for almost all the teams participating, bar maybe one or two that started training earlier. But we sort of interacted with players, both local and abroad, to the local players, sending out programs since March. And it's quite difficult training on your own. So when we came in on last week, the first thing was just to put the ball there and let everybody, play around with the ball, in other words, because that's the first time they really seriously touched the ball. And in the beginning, it was a bit tough, training the whole time on your own and now having to get match fit, not being able to train on your own or in during lockdown with more than one or two players, unless it was a family member or someone while you're training in your backyard. But, in the beginning, it was tough, but it's really coming nicely together now. We've had more than a week. We're currently in Port Elizabeth preparing. It's practically a new squad. We only have 6 players of last year's squad that are playing in this year's squad. We also had players going to the that was here last year. Most of them are now abroad. 13 players of our players that been to the World Cup is playing abroad, and 9 of their 13 played in last year's COSAFA Cup. So we only have 6 players here, but that's a bit of experience. We also have five under 20s in our group, and we have a couple of new caps. So this is the tournament we normally utilize, where we give players an opportunity. So the training is coming together nicely. But like I say, it will be a challenge for a lot of teams, not being active throughout lockdown, but we will try to be as best prepared as we can for the tournament. And yes, we'll just take it game by game.
No, definitely, and I think it's going to be quite interesting. We're certainly looking forward to the new caps that will be taking their place in your team. And Coachy, I mean, climatizing to Port Elizabeth, was that one of the reasons that you went early? I mean, we do know it's difficult playing in Joburg, but it's rather festive when you're playing down by the coast.
Look, we've experienced over the last couple of tournaments, it's extremely windy, and we try to come early to get used to those conditions, really. But during the last couple of tournaments, it's the wind that we have not experienced during our preparation. And just being a new group, we wanted to do similar, just to get used to the conditions, but more so used to playing in severe winds. And I think it has really helped over the last couple of days. It's been rather overcast and with a lot of wind, and just to help the newer players settle in. And I think that was important for us to come early. You don't want to be surprised when you get to a venue. We've tried to do that on other tournaments as well, to come in a bit early to make sure that players at least get an opportunity to climatize, with a lot of players being from, Gauteng, KZN, Western Cape, as well as Limpopo and so forth. So players need to, acclimatize. And for the ones that are new, I think it's important that we, bring them in and make sure that they adapt as quickly as they can.
No, definitely. Coach, is there any of those newbies that you certainly looking forward to, that the rest of South Africa can look forward to?
Look, where I said there's a couple under 20s, Karabo and Sibulele went with us to the World Cup, but then they had to do the matric exam, so we didn't utilize them. I don't put my head on the block, but we have a nice group of youth and experience. And, last year we brought one of the under 20s who's still an under 20 player, Nokolo. And unfortunately, she's not available due to matric exams. And she took an opportunity. And I've said to the players, this is an opportunity, to make your mark. This is an opportunity to make memories. And some of the players that have come before, have not even won the league, but they've got a COSAFA winners medal. And this is an opportunity for you to raise your hand. When the overseas-based players are available, then you can say, but coach, I'm here too. And this is an opportunity for people to see, how we've rotated the squad and the next generation of players to come. So,
No,
we have a couple of players that have been to the under 17 World Cup from the under 20 team now. Oratili, like I said, Sibulele, Karabo, just to mention a few, along with Luna Temba. We have a former captain of the under 17s, Kaylin Jordan. And then we have, a couple of players that, were injured. We recalled, Koketso and so forth, players that were injured, players that have been in the team before. But we also have new caps, Chuluba from Maindis. We saw at the national championships. We have Karabo Kurebeche, who plays for the winners, the league winners, National League winners, Mamelodi Sundowns, as well as North Lankla. And then we have Pride of the University of Pretoria, Tshwane University of Technology. We've recalled Gabriela Salgado, who played at last year's 2018 COSAFA Cup, and Koketso, who played in the 2017 one, and Nomvula, who's been with us before, is playing at the COSAFA Cup for the first time. And then you have your sort of evergreens. You have your Andile, who went to the World Cup, Mamelo, Bongeka, Kaylin. They all went to the World Cup, along with Robin Moodley, who played at last year's tournament, and Ungiziwe, who played at last year's tournament but was on standby for the World Cup. So, we have a nice blend of youth, a nice blend of experience, but we always have to refresh the squad, and we always have to make sure that we get a bigger core group, as you will, to make sure that all our bases are covered. And we always have used the COSAFA Cup in the past. In 2017, we had 10 new caps. and some of those players are still currently in the national team. Some are even playing abroad now. So these are the opportunities that COSAFA has given. Really given us an opportunity to play competition every year, and prepared us really, really well for the 2018 African Women's Cup of Nations.
No, definitely. And coach, you've talked about broadening your core of your squad. Do you think the fact that we've got so many players now going over and getting international experience in the likes of the Serie A over in America, and also the rest of Europe, do you think when those players, such as Janine van Wyk, for example, come back into your squad, their vibrancy and their energy and their work ethic rubs off on your current group of players?
Look, it's unfortunate Janine is currently injured, but yes, we have 19 players in Europe, and 13 of those players went to last year's World Cup. We're hoping that, we played Cameroon, Nigeria in 2016, and you could see, even though they don't come together as often as a national team, just playing at that high level and training at that high level day in, day out showed within their team and the experience. And we're hoping that similar experiences will come to our national team when our players from abroad come back into the team, that will also rub off onto the rest of the players, because it's a dream of a player to play abroad. And hopefully they ambassador being ambassadors, and the way the performances that they put up for their clubs abroad will open up doors for these other players as well, because we know that we have a lot of talent in this country. But I think it took something like the World Cup for people to really stand up and take notice, and we have more talent coming through. You look at our U17, there's some amazing players. There's some amazing players that have come from the U17s that are now currently in under 20s who have gone to the World Cup. So we're consistently trying to refresh, but also, the synergy between the different national teams, U17, U20, and each interaction with the coaches has been very important in some of the call-ups as well, to get feedback and then to give feedback as well.
No, certainly. And you've spoken about your players becoming brand ambassadors. And obviously, our players, our female team now for that matter, is starting to reach heights, starting to win titles. We're going to World Cups. Do you think this has a direct impact on sponsorship for the team and getting women's football up to a level where they're getting more recognized in South Africa through sponsorships and through deals?
Look, it's unfortunate that we only have Cecil. They've been fantastic since 2009. They've supported us through thick and thin. And I don't think they could ever have imagined going to two Olympics in 2012 and 2016, as well as the World Cup. But they've been our biggest supporters, and we are very grateful for a fantastic sponsor like that. But as Cecil and ourselves, we've always urged more corporates to come on board, to assist women's football. Because can you imagine if we had more resources and more sponsorship, what the next level we would be at? We've got a national league, we need sponsors in women's football. And I think we've shown that it is a brand. It is a brand worth sponsoring. It is a brand worth supporting. And we just continuously urge corporate to come on board to take our women's football to the next level.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much there, Coach. It looks like we just lost you for a short second, but it makes a lot of sense. And I think going forward that women's football needs to get as much support as possible in order for them to reach the heights that they want to reach. I mean, they've proved they went to Olympics, they went to a World Cup, they've won the COSAFA championships. So, I mean, what next? Coach, you've got COSAFA coming up. Then you've got also... I think there's Olympic Games next year. There's also another World Cup to look forward to. What can we expect from Coach Desiree Ellis and the Banyana Banyana team in these next few years to come? It's going to be quite jam-packed with football.
Look, our first priority is obviously, to compete and to play the best that we can at the COSAFA Cup. And it's always difficult coming as defending champions. But we're going to take it game by game. We're going to make sure that we make good memories for players as well. It's a pity that we don't have the support of the PE people. They have been fantastic over the last 2 years. When we've played, they've been our 12th and 13th player. Where when the chips were down, they were up singing and really driving us, to get the result that we wanted. And we're really going to miss that more than anything in PE. because they have been absolutely fantastic. And then obviously, we have a couple of other international friendlies coming up, and then the COSAFA Cup next year. In 2022 is the next African Women's Cup of Nations, which doubles up as a World Cup qualifier for 2023, as well as being the first African Women's Cup of Nations that will have 12 teams. So obviously the format will change, and with the World Cup places being increased, there'll obviously be 1 or 2 extra places up for grabs. And I think the competition is going to be tougher because the format's going to change, but we just have to really plan and prepare well. And it starts now. It starts now with planning and preparation. And then in all of that as well, you have, the 2024 Olympic Games coming up. We haven't qualified for the 2020 Olympics, but we have that. As a team, you cannot win all your games, even though you want to win them. And some of these failures then drives you to the next success. 2014, we didn't go to the World Cup, and that hurt. I think really drove a good group of players to qualify for the 2019 World Cup. And once you've gone to the World Cup, you really want to prepare hard and make sure that you go next time. And we're trying to prepare players for the next competitions to come. But the first one is obviously the COSAFA Cup.
No, we're definitely looking forward to that. You've got our backing from everybody at Salam Media. I know that the rest of South Africa will be behind you as well. We're looking forward to chatting to you more often, just to get updates on what's happening within the camp, how things are going. And like a lot of people like to make memes about it, and it's always the trendy topic. But we always like to know, ask coaches, what's the mood like in the camp? We do know it's the most asked question by journalists, but those are the things that we want to know. And I mean, the opportunities that you're giving us as media to come this close to the Banyana team, we would definitely look on thriving on it and telling these stories from the Banyana players so that South Africa can know what's happened with our national team. Thank you so much, Coach. We really, really appreciate your time. Good luck for the tournament, and I'm looking forward to chatting to you very, very soon.
Thaakir, the mood is really high in the camp. The players are really excited, really looking forward to the tournament, and really, really working hard. And I appreciate you having me on the show. And yes, we'd like to update you whenever we can, and hopefully we can make the country proud. So, Thaakir, I just want to thank you for having me on the show.
Coachy, it's only a pleasure. Thank you so much. Good luck for the tournament. All the best with your preparation going forward. Do know that we would be having our eyes and our fingers glued to our phone to know everything that's happening within your camp. Good luck, Coachy. Have a good evening. Have a good weekend, and everything of the best going forward.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. That's Banyana Banyana head coach Desiree Ellis, sharing her story on her journey through football and what you can expect from the Banyana Banyana team in this upcoming COSAFA Cup. Well, we're going to go to a quick ad break. Coming back, I'm going to be giving you a brief update on what we can expect in this weekend's Super Rugby Unlocked action. And then we've got cricket that will be back. Obviously, CSA have confirmed that there will be a couple of incoming tours. And yes, the Cape Cobras have confirmed the Six Gun Grill as their title sponsor. And they will be sponsoring Newlands as well. Well, that's it from me. After the break, I'm going to give you that quick update, and then we'll be chatting to ST, who's going to be profiling a very, very special football tournament after the break.
Salam Media, humanitarian journalism.
An act of love saves lives. Sponsor an orphan with Islamic Relief, and you can help one of the 140 million children who have lost one or both parents through conflict, disaster, poverty, or disease. At Islamic Relief, we support over 60,000 orphans, and we need your help to nurture more children. Your love matters. Sponsor an orphan today. Visit www.islamic-relief.org.za.
What makes Randery Jewellers the optimum place for your memorable gift? Is it our range of exclusive, high-end, luxurious jewellery? Or is it our master craftsmanship of all your bespoke jewellery needs? We believe it's because at Randery Jewellers, we know just how to make your special moments last forever. Whether it's for a wedding, anniversary, or just a simple gift to show your love, trust Randery Jewellers to make it special. www.randeryjewellers.com. Make your moments last forever with Randery Jewellers, the family name you can trust.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media.
لا تقل لوحدي أو كيف السبيل
Humanity sets the agenda.
تصنع المستحيل.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm back. I'm going to be chatting to you everything Super Rugby Unlocked. Currently, we have the Emirates Lions taking on the Tafellager Griquas at Emirates Elands Park this evening. The Lions are currently up 42-7. This is after they did not play their match last week due to not meeting the COVID regulations and having a couple of COVID cases within their squad. That means the Lions didn't take on the Cheetahs, and if that match can't be rescheduled, then both teams will be splitting the points. Do you think it's fair? I don't know. Interact with us in the comment section below and tell us what you think and what's your thoughts on how teams should go about rescheduling the matches, and if you think it's fair that the points should be split. Because, I mean, everybody knows that the Lions weren't going through the best of spells before that match when they were supposed to take on the Cheetahs, and then all of a sudden they get to split the points. Many Cheetahs fans would have said that that was money in the bank for the Cheetahs. 5 points guaranteed, and now the points have to be split. What's your thoughts? Do you think it's fair? Tell us in the comment section below. And also give us your thoughts on this weekend's Super Rugby Unlocked fixtures and what you think will be taking place in each of those matches. We've got a North-South derby where the Bulls will be taking on the Stormers out in Loftus tomorrow. Some interesting changes to both teams. We do see Nizam Khan on the bench. We do see that Captain Siya Kolisi is out for the Stormers this weekend. Steven Kitshoff has taken the captaincy. Quite interesting. It's going to be a tough one. I'm looking forward to seeing what both of these teams will bring to the table come tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting one. If you know of what the Stormers have up their sleeve, or what the Bulls have up their sleeve, come chat to us. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Yep. And then we've also, then the final game of the day would be in Nelspruit, where the Pumas, the 4 o'clock kickoff, the Pumas take on the Sharks. The Sharks are in good form at the moment, and the Pumas are narrowly being defeated by the Stormers last weekend, where the Stormers came back and won the game in the dying moments of that match. Warwick Khalan scored in that match-winning try. It's going to be a tough one. Coach Jimmy Stonehouse has obviously raised concerns, and all coaches for that matter raised concerns about the refereeing decisions and a lot of other things around some interesting decisions going on in that match. Then we've also got the Tri-Nations without the Springboks that will be taking place this weekend. It kicks off tomorrow with Australia taking on New Zealand. That match will be taking place at 10:45 tomorrow morning. Quite an interesting one. I mean, we do know that the Aussies are looking to fight back strong against the New Zealanders who put them in the Bledisloe Cup. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. Then we've also got a host of Six Nations fixtures. It's going to be quite tight. I mean, we've got Wales that take on Scotland in the first game of the day. Then Italy take on England. About that Wales game, Alan Wynne-Jones will become the tied most cap rugby player alongside Richie McCaw. That's quite a feat if you look at it. Many would say that it's not exactly fair because they counted, I think, 2 or 3 caps against the Barbarians that he played. And yeah, where many other players' caps against the Barbarians aren't counted as official caps. And then Italy take on England later that day. Then France will be facing Ireland at 10:05 tomorrow evening. That's going to be quite a tough one. We know that the French flair has been oozing this last weekend, for that matter, showing exactly why they are the team to watch. Quite interesting. I mean, a lot of interesting topics to speak about in each one of those games. If anything specific that our listeners and viewers would like to chat about, I mean, drop a comment. I'm free to chat about it. Let's just make sure that there's no politics involved. I'm happy to speak about anything. Then also we've got South African cricket. We do know that the Cape Cobras have yesterday announced that they will be title sponsored by Six Gun Grill in a media press conference that took place yesterday at Cape Gun at Newlands Stadium. Six Gun Grill, Newlands. It will be known as of yesterday. Quite an interesting sponsorship. We do know that the Cobras have been playing some good cricket, and with sponsors getting on board, it could just take the cricket to the next level. It's nice to see that even though it's been tough times out there for sponsors in South Africa, that they can actually come into this period fighting COVID, coming out of COVID, and we know many companies have taken a dip with regards to finances, and now they can sponsor a team like the Cobras. I think it works hand in hand, and it'll be quite interesting to see how things play out from here. Well, then we've got the Proteas that will be facing England in this upcoming series. Quite interesting. A new board has been announced today. There's been some big news in the cricketing spheres. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Anybody else that wants to share their thoughts on what's happening in the cricketing sphere right now, be sure to share your views and your thoughts with us. We're happy to chat about anything to do with cricket. Well, that's a quick update from me. We're going to be taking a quick ad break before we come back to studio.